Hi, I'm here for the American Dream. Oh, great. Go ahead and line up right over there. Awesome, thanks. Hi, one American Dream, please. Well, first you'll need a $40,000 college degree. I came to this country with only $5 in my pocket. No problem, take this $40,000 debt and head to the next station. Awesome, thank you. Hi, American, now that you have a college degree, you'll need a card to get to your job. Okay, that'll be $20,000. I don't take this debt and head over there. Next. $400,000 to buy your house. Take this debt and keep in mind, by the time you pay this house off in 30 years, you would have paid us $500,000 in interest. So the house will end up costing you $1 million. I don't think I can afford this. Oh, and if you get a raise at work, be sure to upgrade your car. And when can I expect to retire? I mean, you got stuff to pay for, so 65 if you're lucky. This is not a dream, it's a nightmare.
Have you ever wondered how it's possible we live in the wealthiest period of history, yet a lot of people out there are struggling to survive?
We're in a spending culture. America has a consumerism culture, and I joke about this, but the way I like to say it is traditionally Indian people make $1 to spend 20 cents. American people make $1 to spend $2.
Yeah.
Thanks to the help of credit lines of credit. This is just the culture that we're in, where it's very okay and normalized to spend money even if you can't afford something.
You don't have it.
And what are you doing? Well, you're spending all your money making everybody else around you rich, but you yourself, you might look rich, but you're actually broke. There's a reason why the owner and CEO of Louis Vuitton is the richest person in the world, whereas the majority of people who wear Louis Vuitton are broke.
Why do the rich keep getting richer? Why millions of people are left scraping? Hello fam, welcome back to my channel. How you all doing? Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Thanks for your support. In today's video, we are pulling back the curtain and revealing the uncomfortable truth. Poverty isn't just a byproduct, it's part of the plan. Today's topic is common amongst us. It's something we see every day, but people rarely talk about it. How capitalism, the system that promises opportunities, might actually be manufacturing poverty.
That capitalism is the only thing in the history of the world to bring billions of people out of poverty.
Bullshit. The international poverty line is $2.15 per person per day. That means that if you make $2.30 per person per day, you are now living above the poverty line. So the capitalist likes to redefine terms so that way it makes it seem as though they're doing some benevolent action by raising these people out of poverty. But all they've really done is exploit their labor. And now they're paying just enough money to make sure that this person can survive another day so they can get their ass back in a factory and get to work. This is what capitalism is. It is an exploitation machine, and it will not stop exploiting the poor unless we do something about it.
I know the word capitalism does sound intense, but stick around and hear me out. What you're about to hear in this video might change the way you view the world around you. The myth of the American dream, I'm pretty sure we've all heard about it. Work hard, play by the rule, and you will succeed. But is that really the case? I guess just for a few, but not a large number of people.
Do you think that the American dream is dead? We cannot use the same playbook our parents gave us to live life today, right? We've been told this American dream. You work hard, you study good, you go to college, you get a good job, you climb the corporate ladder, and you will be able to buy that white picket fence home, go on 2 vacations a year, and have your 2 kids and a golden retriever. It doesn't work like that anymore. You cannot save your way to rich unless you are making upwards of $500,000 a year. You cannot get there through saving.
The truth about the American dream.
So you wake up early in the morning to go to work to pay for a house that you're never at. And you pay for a car that primarily gets you from and to work, correct? The government takes anywhere from, let's say 30 to 50% of your wages. And then there's things like VAT, which is basically your money getting taxed that was already taxed. You save up your whole life for a pension, which at the end of the day, the government takes 40 to 50% of that. Then in your elder years, you're living off canned soup and fucking bread because that's all you can afford. And then you get your state pension, which you can't get until you're like 180 years old. And even with that, if you die before you get it, you can't even pass it down to your kids. The government takes it. We are all getting scammed so fucking bad. It's almost comical. People don't see this shit. How can you work 40 or 50 hours a week, especially nowadays, to pay for fucking nothing? So figure 200 hours a month, you give your life to a corporation, and then halfway through the month, you're struggling to get to payday. Sounds pretty fucking familiar, doesn't it? We're giving our lives away for nothing. It is a scam. We're losing more by going to work than staying our asses home. All a big scam. It's called the American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
I'm sorry, but the American dream never fucking existed. Like, what? Your dream is to work until you are 65 and decrepit and not be able to make ends meet the entire time? Like, I'm sorry, but that just does not sound remotely appealing to me. It's not even about the dream anymore. Like, people are literally just trying to afford living in America. And here's the thing. If you are working for America, you will never be able to live your dream life in America. Like, and I know that most of you are probably already scrolled by now because you don't think it's possible to live in America without working for America. I was a server at the beginning of 2023. I quit my serving job. I started affiliate and digital marketing in April of 2023 and have now made almost $300,000 working online, and none of that came from my serving job. So if you are genuinely interested in working for yourself, starting an online business, check out the roadmap. It's at the top of my page. It literally shows you everything that you need to know to make money online, to start digital marketing. But I promise your dreams are so much more achievable than you think they are, but you're probably not going to reach very many of them by living that American dream life.
What if that dream was never meant for everyone? What if it was just meant to be a dream and not reality? Here is the truth. Under capitalism, wealth tends to concentrate at the top. The richest 1% own more wealth than the 90% at the bottom. While just a few will succeed, the system leaves millions behind, forcing them to work harder and harder for less and less pay. The dream might be real for some people, like I said, but for the rest, it is just a crafted illusion.
Capitalism will never solve the problem of poverty because the problem of poverty has already been solved. And poverty existing in 2024 is completely and totally manufactured. Let me explain how. In 2024, mankind has the capability and the means and the technology to make sure that all people on planet Earth have their basic needs met at the bare minimum, like food, water, and housing. Yet, we don't currently have those things, and people today will die from homelessness or starvation or lack of clean water. And why? Well, under a capitalist society, capitalists ultimately thrive on keeping working class people as poor as humanly possible.
If this is your first time of hearing the word capitalism, here's a quick definition of what it means.
All right, so what is capitalism? I'm going to try to answer this in 1 minute, so we're going to oversimplify things a little bit, but ultimately, capitalism is an economic system that's characterized by two key factors. The first one being the private ownership of the means of production, so businesses, property, factories, machinery, these are owned by private individuals or corporations, and they're ultimately operated for profit. This is contrasted with, say, communism or socialism, where there's a lot of common ownership of the means of production, and in some cases there are outright laws against the private ownership of property or business or the means of production. So the second key factor that distinguishes capitalism, I'd say, is a market economy. And so what that means is that individuals and corporations are free to buy and sell goods in an open market economy where the forces of supply and demand ultimately set prices. And this is thought to achieve efficient social outcomes.
Capitalism requires the existence of a class of people who only have their labor power to sell in exchange for basic human survival needs like food, water, and shelter. Capitalism is a system designed to deprive people of their basic human needs in order to exploit them in the workforce. This is all to the benefit of a small, privileged class of individuals who enjoy and own all the wealth, resources, and property. To put it simply, capitalism depends on the concept of wage labor. Throughout history, this relationship between capital and labor has been known popularly as wage slavery.
Capitalism is driven by profit. It's all about profit. It's profit over people. Here is the problem with that. To maximize profit, companies are always looking for ways to reduce cost. They will pay their workers less, outsource the work to cheaper labor, cut benefits. You might ask, What's wrong with that? They used money to set up the business and they're there to make profit. You're right, nothing is wrong with making profit, but doing things in moderation is the focus.
Every capitalist, I think most of the folks watching know this just from their personal life. Every capitalist is always trying to either make more money or survive competitively by saving on his labor costs. But here comes the contradiction. If all capitalists are reducing the number of workers they pay or reducing the pay they give to their workers, what will result is that the working people have less and less money. And if they have less and less money, they can't buy what the capitalists are producing to sell. The capitalists, therefore, are destroying themselves, but they have no choice. They have to save on the labor outlay, and then that comes back and bites them in the rear end because there's no demand. If you've been so successful becoming rich as a capitalist, you've killed yourself. How did it keep going when the people didn't have enough money from their wages to buy? The solution was credit. We loaded the world up. House credit, that's your mortgage. Car payment credit, nobody buys a car except by paying out. Credit cards, which didn't exist before the 1970s for anything but traveling businessmen, and only a small number of them. And then when that was not enough, we loaded up, for the first time in American history, an entire generation of students who can't get a degree without loading up with tens of thousands of dollars of debt. We kept the system going. People could buy stuff even though their wages didn't pay for it by borrowing. And in 2008, the predictable happened. It turned out your fix only lasts for a while. The problems of capitalism now are so severe, so systemic, so global, that we're beginning to wonder whether this system is going to find a way out. The people on the other side of the political fence are very worried too.
While CEOs and shareholders get richer, the average workers are left to fight over scraps. This explains why we have billionaires and essential workers are struggling to pay their rent. Capitalism thrives on inequality. The focus is to have a permanent underclass to keep the profit high and the cost low. The trap of debt and consumerism. Overconsumption is a big problem. Capitalism doesn't just leave people struggling. It manufactures ways to keep people trapped. How? Let me explain. It does that through debt and consumerism. People are being sold the idea that happiness comes from overconsumption, buying more clothes, more gadgets, more cars, things that they actually don't need. But what they don't tell you is overconsumption comes with a price. Millions of people are drowning in credit card debt, mortgage, student loan. People are crying. It's a struggle coping, it's a struggle meeting up, it's a struggle paying back those loans. People are forced to keep working just to stay afloat. And here is the kicker: the debt keeps the system running. It is the fuel that powers capitalism by ensuring people are always working, spending, and never free.
Overconsumerism is literally taking over my life.
This is literally so embarrassing because why do I need to live this way? This is taking over my life.
If you can't stop spending money, give me 2 minutes of your scroll. I'm going to explain why. It boils down to the fact that you continue to give your stuff and your money a job that isn't really its job. See, when you buy something, you're not just buying a thing, a product. You're buying a future state of feeling. I need this new serum to make me feel confident. I need those injections to feel beautiful. I need all these clear bins to organize my stuff in to feel more in control. So the formula we're seeing here is I need blank in order to feel blank. And there are endless variations of this. But in every variation, you are abdicating responsibility to your money and to your stuff to do a job that really you should be doing because you are trying to use spending and stuff, something in your external environment, to fill an internal void. And the problem is it's never ever going to work. No amount of stuff is going to compensate for the fact that you just really don't like yourself that much. No amount of clear bends are going to compensate for the fact that you feel totally out of control in your own life. And no amount of beauty products are ever going to be able to solve for your inner self-hatred and self-loathing. And instead of coming to this realization that you're playing a game that can't be won, you just think it wasn't the right top. It's not this serum, it's got to be that serum. It just wasn't that planner, but this planner is going to be the one that changes my life. And so you just keep going out and buying more and more and more, trying to solve your internal problems with external solutions. Now, coming to this realization does not mean that you have to stop buying new things that you want, but it does mean that you can step into a place of power and start spending your money from a place of radical responsibility by recognizing that the worthiness, the sense of control, the confidence, the self-acceptance, fill in the blank, is your responsibility. It is an inside job. It's not the job of your money or your stuff to do that for you.
People pay off their debt. People attempt to pay off their debt. People throw all of their money at their debt because of the story in their minds that they will be debt-free. We all hope to be debt-free. We all have been hopefully debt-free at one point or another. We have all slaved and put all of our money towards our debt. What happens when that cycle is endless and you never actually reach the point of having the disposable income? And the whole time you've been paying off that debt, you were using that disposable income on the debt, and then it just keeps getting farther and farther away because of inflation, because of emergencies, because you don't have an adequate savings account, you don't have an adequate checking account. At this point in my life, I strongly believe that I am putting myself and my family at more financial risk to be spending all of my money on my debt, to try so hard to budget on a shoestring and and only give myself X amount for food and miscellaneous tasks. Things are way too expensive right now for me to not have hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in my checking account just to cover food, just to cover rent, just to cover my kids need bigger socks and I gotta go run to Target. Those purchases require disposable income. But every time you look at your bank and you see disposable income and you think, oh, I'm gonna put that towards my debt because one day I might have no debt and I might have endless disposable income. You have the disposable income right now. Spend it on what you need to spend it on. Save things for the next emergency and just pay the debt when you can. You know, nothing is promised. Truly, we do not know what is around the corner. I think at this stage, politically, socially, financially, it's actually super risky to put tens of thousands of dollars into debt, which is not bringing anything back to you when we have no idea what is on the horizon.
With capitalism, who really wins in a system like this? It's not the everyday worker that wins with the system. It's not a family that is struggling to make ends meet that wins. However, the billionaires, the corporations, the organizations, those people manipulating the system to their advantage are the ones winning. While the rich grow their wealth through investment, tax loopholes, with political influence, the rest of us are left with stagnant wages and rising cost of living. In capitalism, the game is rigged, and if you're not at the top, you're definitely paying the price. So what can we do? Should we sit back and watch the system play out the way it's been playing out, or is there really something that can be done to change things? The first step is understanding the system. When we recognize how capitalism manufactures poverty, then we can go ahead to push for a system that works for everyone. It's time for the people to demand fair wages, stronger labor rights, and a system that values people over profit. The truth here is this: the change we are looking forward to is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be an easy one, and it starts with you, it starts with me. We can start by supporting ethical companies, demanding better policies, and calling out the system for exactly what it is. In a nutshell, capitalism is a system that manufactures poverty and inequality. Click this video to hear people complain about their work, stagnant pay, high cost of living, and inflation. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.